Hi, my name is Lieutenant Gary Aswalt, and welcome to a very accurate tour of every single launch map in the brand spanking new Black Ops 6. That's right, we're back, baby! First up is Babylon, which takes place in Iraq and is actually the tiniest map available in regular rotation. Kinda like this game's Shipment, or Rust, or Das House. Or its layout is laid out like a big circle to sprint around, with a cross in the center, as if the overhead is telling you, no, stay away. Generally, the way that you play this map is to pick a direction and sprint around for as many laps as you can before being gunned down. Like NASCAR, but fun. Protocol is the first of what I would consider to be a standard 3-lane map. It has a courtyard in the center that splits the map into two halves. One for my team, and the other also for my team, who don't understand how to keep the enemy in their spawns without flipping. Like I said though, it's very standard in that way, with a building on either side that's firmly into each team's territory, and upstairs windows for snipers to be deadlocked into the entire match. And similarly, Vault is another standard map, but a bit on the bigger side, taking place in Saddam Hussein's palace, where it turns out he was your upstairs neighbor this whole time, stomped his way straight through his own floor and into the vault below. Hey, hang on, is all this water from the sprinkler system or the pool? Because it's a lot for a sprinkler system, but not very much for an entire pool. Oh, the diving board works though, that's nice. Subsonic is based around an airplane hangar, with a working door in the middle that you can open and close at will, completely changing the flow of the map, from an open floor plan with plenty of natural light to an enclosed tomb we're all foolish enough to step inside. And now for another small map, we have Payback, which tends to play a bit like that one Vanguard map that you actually remember, with both teams funneling directly into the house, where they then start shooting wildly, like when you shake a beehive up for fun. Location-wise, it's pulled straight from the campaign, so that means spoiler alert if you ever stop to read the planning board here. The map SCUD is actually an acronym standing for Stupid Campers Under the Dish, which refers to the one and only real power position on this map, the dish. That said though, even though the dish is weighted to this side, that's still not enough to save those unlucky enough to spawn here from the worst spawn trap I've seen since Subbase back in 09. The name Rewind is a bit of a pun, a triple entendre, if you will. First, rewind, as in be kind, rewind, the slogan of video rental stores, like the one found in this West Virginian strip mall. Then second, it's rewind, as in rewind the clock. It's a nostalgia map, built for 90s kids, which would explain why everyone younger than that absolutely despises it, because it's bigger than the crib that they still spend each night in. And thirdly, rewind also refers to the feeling that we're stuck in a big loop, when you're constantly spawn killed by a sniper in the chicken joint, over and over, until this whole strip mall eventually goes under in the recession of 08. Derelict takes place in a train yard in West Virginia. Man, who high up on the dev team is from West Virginia? Because this is the most thought that anyone has ever put into that state, where some kind of accident has taken place, sending a few cars off the tracks and a few others to the nearest tattoo shop. It has tons of narrow paths and routes to quickly flank and duck out of gunfire, making it the kind of map that you'll love if you like a lot of close quarter action and hate breathing room. Because everything's so close together, you may contract airborne claustrophobia from the final breaths of that last guy refusing to slide cancel around in this franchise. And then there's Vorkuta, the map that I personally was looking forward to the most, taking place in the infamous prison that kickstarted the entire series. And after about a week's worth of people playing and voicing their opinions on social media, I started to get a bit confused between the reviews of this map and the reviews of the actual prison itself. Now, Skyline is just an all-around solid map. It takes place in Avalon, the location that we're all supposed to act surprised when it's announced to be the next Warzone map, and drops you into yet another cool place that I'll never go in real life, a swanky penthouse. What really sets this map apart though is the hidden panic room underneath the map. that you can access by being literate, and inside is a second button that you can hit to put up shutters in the meeting room, cutting off sight lines and forcing people to run directly down the center of the map, like... oh wait, they were doing that anyway. Oh well. Lowtown can be summed up with a single word as well: water. Or more accurately, a hyphenated word: water you doing voting for this map. Or at least that's the sentiment that I've seen a lot of other people share around this place. But honestly, I kinda like it. It's one of the largest in the game, which, to be fair, isn't saying a lot. Like, that's kinda like claiming to be the least annoying election spam text. But as one of the only swimmable maps in the game, Lowtown makes decent use of the canals connecting the various corners of the map, with a hidden underwater pathway that lets you pop up in this well in the middle of the map's hotspot, like you're Lassie trying to find help. And as far as boring land-based combat goes, all roads tend to lead up to this main building in the direct center. So when in doubt, just camp it out. And lastly, there's Red Card, which feels like they wanted to make a whole soccer field map, but then sneezed while drawing the bounds for it. It's cut into 3 lanes. There's the outside, which is decently open and ruled by long-range kings in opposite windows. Then the middle is this little zone right outside the stands. I don't know what it's called. I've never seen a sport in my life, unless you count the dudes running around on Babylon. What's exciting about this section, though, is that it actually has a real working elevator. Then the third lane is outside by the field. Not on the field, because that would be too cool. Instead, you just kind of scuffle around the bleachers a little bit, picking fights and trying not to go out of bounds. Like my stepdad when he'd have too much to drink at the softball game next to where I was playing. And that's about all of them. Every single launch map for Black Ops 6. And now, I've been seeing a ton of people claiming that these are the worst maps in COD history, and that Vorkuta gave them cancer, Red Card, AIDS, and Lowtown, athlete's foot. But honestly, I really like a lot of these maps, and I feel like I'm going insane. If you remember back in my series of tours on Cold War, one thing that I criticized them about constantly, to the point that I even annoyed myself, was that every map's layout was almost identical. And while I won't rehash that whole thing here and now, I will say I'm pleasantly surprised by the variety in the map pool. SCUD plays differently than Vault, which plays differently than Vorkuta, which is completely different to Subsonic or Rewind. And for those who don't like these maps, the only thing I have to say is, it's been like 3 days, man. This is the fun part of playing a game. Learning those starting routes, the power positions, what camping spots to avoid. And really ask yourself, at the end of the day, do you really want every single map to be the same, match to match, season to season, year after year after... Oh, what's that? Nuketown's coming tomorrow? Oh, hell yeah, dude, sign me up! And that's about where I'll end today's tour. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, because we're about to have a whole ass year's worth of new content to go over as accurately as possible. And everyone else can exit through the gift shop, where we need to clear out inventory space for a brand new shipment of mannequins next week. I think you can guess what they're for.